Hey Facebook, this is Tim Anderson. Many of you have been asking for an update on the Saslaw recall. So I wanted to, for those of you who don't even know what that is, spend just a couple minutes recalling what's been going on and where the Libertarian Party of Virginia is. Now, I spoke to them on the phone at length a couple of nights ago. I just haven't had time to push the update, but here's where we are with the Senator Saslaw recall. So under Virginia law, we have a recall procedure to recall a elected official. And basically what you have to do, you have to collect 10% of the vote of the last election, and then you have to go to court and you have to allege that the elected officer did something wrong with his office. Now, there's a lot of things in the code of somebody that can do something wrong. Could be something criminal. It could they could have stolen money. They could have been convicted of a felony. Whatever it is, there's these things. And then there's this section called misuse of office. And what the recall efforts have been alleged is that Senator Saslaw, through the power of his office, lodged Senate Bill 16 and other bills that are blatantly on their face unconstitutional. And because of that, it has caused a panic in Virginia that has resulted in more than 100 plus jurisdictions in Virginia declaring themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries or Second Amendment constitutional cities or whatever they're going to call it. 100 plus jurisdictions have joined this political statement that, hey, we're very concerned with what you guys are proposing in Richmond. And so the idea is that by doing that, he has misused the powers of his office. Now, Senator Saslaw had recently come out and said, after the backlash by Virginia, had come out and said, I never intended on Senate Bill 16 becoming the law. And so we have basically two theories on the recall petition. If Senator Saslaw did intend on Senate Bill 16 becoming the law, which is on its face blatantly unconstitutional and has caused a panic in Virginia, then that's a misuse of his office. If Senator Saslaw did not intend on Senate Bill 16 becoming the law, then basically that's no different than going into a movie theater and yelling fire and everybody panicking and the building getting evacuated. If you do that, you're going to be penalized under the law, and the penalty for an elected official to do that is recall. And so either way, you take his words. Either you take his words that he intended on Senate Bill 16 becoming the law or something like it, or you take his words that it was never intended to be the main assault weapons bill. And either way, the argument is that that is a misuse of office. Now, I started that. Okay, that was me. That was my idea. And so I went to Fairfax and tried to gather support. I went up there by myself. About 60 to 70 people from the Fairfax area showed up and were there. We're going to help you with this. Well, at the same time, the Libertarian Party of Virginia stepped up and said, hey, this is something that we want to do. We love this idea. We love the idea that it's a legal path to try to hold elected officials responsible for their actions. We want to take it over. And quite frankly, I was thrilled when they did that, because here's what we have to do. We have to collect about 6,000 signatures in the 34th Senatorial District, which is basically right up in the Springfield Falls Church area of Virginia, which is extremely Democratic. So it's going to be very difficult to get people, to identify people to be able to, that would want to sign this, because most people in his district voted for him. In fact, he didn't even run opposed. He was one of the guys in Virginia that did not run opposed in the general election. All right, so here is where we are with that's the background. So here's where we are in this. No elected official in Virginia has ever successfully been recalled. Now, there have been a couple of recalls in the city of Portsmouth, but that goes under a different code section that's related specific to the city charter. and that dealt with the mayor. But no state elected officials, no governor, no attorney general, no senator, no House of Delegate ever in the history of Virginia has ever been removed from office through this recall process. It exists, but it's never been done. It's never been tried. There's only been 2 published cases that even talk about it under the law. And there's just no way to know how this is going to go. So it's a big long shot to do. But it was important for me to say, hey, we need to take more of an offensive position to the Democrats than a defensive position. So starting a recall, starting to work that up, we'll let them know that there are consequences to putting on a piece of paper a bill that is unconstitutional and then filing it in the House of Delegates. There is a consequence to that. There is a consequence to telling 100,000 or more people in Virginia that by the stroke of a pen and because of one political election, hundreds of thousands of you will become felons. So that's where we are. So now moving forward, the Libertarian Party said we're going to need about $20,000 to hire people, paid petition gatherers to go up and do this. And so we've been raising money. And we've got, I think, about $12,000 that we've raised. Okay. Here's where we are today. We are not going to have the signatures before they go into session. I had hoped we would. It's not going to happen. It's actually slower going than even I had hoped of gathering signatures. We do have signatures, but it's going to take a while. This may take a good part of 2020 to move forward. And because we're not going to have the timeline problems that I wanted to do, I want to get all this done before they went into session. Because we're not going to have that deadline anymore, what the Libertarians want to do now is take the money that they have and they want to use it in a different way to be able to buy lists from the elections to find out who are the Republican voters, who are the people that voted for somebody other than a Democrat that lives in the 35th district. And then they want to fine tune volunteers to go towards those people and knock on those doors and say, hey, we are here working on the Dick Saslaw recall. Would you be willing to sign it? Because going to a Democrat's door has been extremely unproductive. And so they have enough money to be able to do that. So we don't need to give any more money to the Libertarians on this cause. The $12,000 that we have is plenty of money to buy the lists and then organize. Now, it's going to require people to volunteer to do this. If we're going to get this to happen, it's going to require people to volunteer with the Libertarian Party. I've put the link to the Libertarian Party on this page. That's the Dick Saslaw page. And they're going to be posting updates, they said soon, about how to get volunteers engaged. So asking me for updates is I don't have anything more than you'll have by clicking on the above link. Look at that if you're interested in being a part of going door to door, of standing in front of a DMV and asking for signatures. If you're interested in having organizing your friends and family at somebody's house to come over and do this, that is all through the Libertarian Party. That's not going to be through me at all. It is their idea now. I've pushed it to them. They have it. And so you have to communicate directly with them about engaging with them to do it. And I'm super excited and thankful for them. So that's the update. That's probably the last update I'll be able to give you on the Dick Saslaw recall unless they get the signatures. And then when they get the signatures, we'll talk more about it then. Hope that's good information for you. And that should be the end of the videos for today, unless I come up with something else. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Facebook. Bye-bye.